This week on the Spotlight, Josh Phegley had a good first week in the majors. We'll talk about it. And then we'll go back to 1996 and talk to this premier pitcher from that era. We'll be flashing back more. Also from the 90s. I think you know that Cub. He was a Sox as well. And we will go back even more and talk to that strong-arm shortstop this week. Check out my website, benkowski.com, for my weekly article and up-to-the-minute trivia sites. From wherever Chicago's sports teams are making news, this is the 23rd year of the Lansing Floral Sports Spotlight. Flowers for every imaginable occasion at Lansing Floral Shop. Call them at 708-474-1212. They deliver. You've got to get to Kelly's for Benkowski Trivia, Friday, July 26th at 8 p.m. It's the beach promotion. Wear something cool, you might win a prize. Friday, August 2nd at 8 p.m. Come out and play. Bring your friends. 44th and Wallace, Kelly's Tavern. Want to get a haircut from a great hairstylist? Call mine, Rose Murillo, 312-726-2201. With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. Demitas Coffee Shop is an excellent place to go at 1066 West Taylor, just off the UIC campus. Breakfast, lunches, mochas, lattes, cappuccino, tea, baked goods, superb French toast, great chicken salad. Open Tuesday through Sunday for breakfast and lunch. Great staff. Demitas Coffee Shop on Taylor. Dave McLean's got some antiques for you. You better stop at 2716 West 111th Street in Mount Greenwood. 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., or do you call it Beverly? 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Always buying and selling quality antiques, art, silver, coins, vintage bicycles, great wholesale prices. Dave McLean Antiques. Sam & Sons Jewelers offer custom-made jewelry at 10640 South Cicero. You can buy, sell, trade, repair, and restyle. They have certified loose diamonds and gemstones. Sam & Sons Jewelers, easy to reach at 10640 South Cicero. You should get to Ignatz Ristorante. It's at 24th and Oakley. They feature things like chicken Vesuvio and cacciatore, steak Isabella, veal parmesan. They're highly rated by Chicago's Best, Time Out Chicago, 190 North, Chicago Magazine. Ignatz, 2421 South Oakley. Eat there. We're back on the Spotlight, and not a lot of good things happening for the White Sox this year, but Josh Phegley has had a good first week. Couple of home runs, he had a grand slam, and he talks about his early days with the White Sox.
I'm ready for the task. Josh, I told you yesterday, Friday when you made the debut, all weekend, that everything in Terre Haute was about you. Every bar, every restaurant had the games on. I'm sure everyone's contacted you. Just how's it feel to be, representing Terre Haute up here?
Oh, very proud to hear those people are behind me, and I'm from Terre Haute and I always represent them, and just glad to hear everyone's following me, and I really appreciate all the fan base back there, and glad to see some people have made a few games. I saw my high school coach down in Tampa in first game, so it's been awesome.
Since it's just a few hours drive, do you have a big contingent of family and friends up here?
Not for this particular game. I know they'll be coming up, every other game in waves, and grandparents and family and all that. But just really glad. My family was out in Colorado when they got the call, and they were able to fly in for the debut, and that was really big that they could be there for me.
Josh, if this team goes through a rebuild, what does it mean to you that you're part of the rebuild and a building block in that?
Just this opportunity to come up and play for the White Sox is amazing, and very thankful to the organization that they've got the faith in me and the confidence that I can be back there and help this team win. And I'm going to do everything I can, everything they ask me to, and just try to be the best player I can for this team.
Did you think this would be the year? Was this in your plan? You were probably a little tired of being in the minor leagues, frankly.
Honestly, I was battling for the job out of spring training and just kind of put my best foot forward and see what they thought, and got some good feedback out of spring training from Robin and Mark, and just try to do the best I could going into Charlotte. And starting off that well, I thought I had a good shot being up here, and really wanted to get up here and get on the grind.
Were you expecting the call when it came, or were you a little surprised it was this early in the year?
Wasn't too surprised. I think I put together a good year, and I kind of felt it coming, and was kind of getting a little anxious. I was a little surprised. We were on a 2-day trip to Gwinnett, and I didn't really have anything with me as far as clothes or anything, so hopped on the plane down to Tampa with what little I had, and just had to hit the ground running.
Josh,
Who else?
it's been no secret you can hit at every level. You've always focused on the catching part. How do you think you've handled, I know it's just 2 games, but how do you think you've handled the staff so far?
The first game, I think, was a pretty big task, just to kind of get the nerves and get settled. Plus they had a big inning real early on, and that was kind of, just that first obstacle. But I think I overcame that and, handled a couple bullpen guys coming in. But felt more comfortable with the second game going in there, and I think Danks threw a great game, and, we handled it pretty well.
We heard about some other Charlotte guys like Sanchez. Who looks really good down there that they look like they could be considered for call-ups later on? Who look really good to you, playing with them?
Tough to say right now. We've got some guys that playing pretty well, day in and day out. A few different guys. Don't really who to name right now, but we've got some quality players all through the minor leagues, and I'm sure some will make an impact by the end of the season.
You grew up in what I think might be Cincinnati Reds country. Who were you a fan of growing up, team-wise or player-wise?
I wouldn't say Reds country. We got Fox Sports Midwest in Terre Haute, so I grew up watching the Cardinals, and my dad was a big Bob Gibson fan, so that's kind of how we were raised. But, just a baseball fan in general, watching anyone.
Any particular catchers you model yourself after?
I made the transition to catching in high school, and the guy I immediately latched on was Mike Matheny, watching the Cardinals, and his just defensive specialty was amazing, and as well as Pudge Rodriguez.
Josh, it's been a whirlwind 3 days. You've had your first hit, your first home run. Can you juxtapose your personal accomplishment versus, you don't have your first win yet, though. The team has struggled a bit. How is it to balance what you've done personally versus the team trying to get on the winning track?
Like you said, I think it's a little bittersweet coming up here, getting my first hit, RBI, and then a home run the next game. I'm trying to settle in, but at the same time, it's about winning games. You come in, you got to win the first game. You got to win. We got to try to win every game from here on out. And so it's tough to kind of celebrate within myself. When we know this team needs wins, and we got to do everything in our power to come out on top.
Since 1967, El Jardín has been serving the finest Mexican food. Before, after, or during ball games, located conveniently just 3 blocks south of Wrigley Field, 3335 North Clark. Whether there's a game or not, you still get hungry, and El Jardín has great service, great food, and great drinks. I've enjoyed every meal I've had there, and you will too. So get to El Jardín for great Mexican food at 3335 North Clark Street in Chicago. You'll be glad you did. You've got to get to Lansing Floral Shop. Open at 8 a.m. daily. Besides a great array of live flowers, they have custom silks, Bridgewater candles. They want you to plan your parties early at a wide delivery area. They're located at 3420 Ridge Road in Lansing, or you can call 708-474-1212. Weddings, funerals, birthdays, anniversaries, and guys, try the No Reason flower. Believe me, it works. Lansing Floral Shop. Give them a call, 708-474-1212. You've got to get to Kelly's Tavern. You'll have a good time. I'm cracking up thinking about it. Benkowski Trivia, 44th and Wallace. And it'll be Friday, July 26th at 8 p.m. Come out and play. Bring your friends. It's fun. Kelly's Tavern, 44th and Wallace. See you over there. Normally I say you've got to get to, but no. You call Cornelio's Mobile Auto Glass at 773-908-6081, and they'll come to you. The lowest prices, new and used. Windshields, side windows, the back. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call Cornelio's. A very fine restaurant is Amelia's Bar and Grill at 46th and Halsted. They're open for lunch and dinner daily, private parties and catering, a unique mixture of fine dining and Mexican specialties created by Chef Eusebio Garcia. So check it out, a fine place, Amelia's Bar and Grill, 46th and Halsted. Playoffs still out there, according to the mathematics, and a guy who's played a gigantic role for the White Sox as the ace of their pitching staff is Alex Fernandez. And Alex, as you pile up big innings and go into the final couple of days, do you reflect back at any portion of the season and say that was a rough road for us? If we could have split that series of 6 or 7 games, we'd be in a little better shape right now?
I think you could always look back in any season, even the seasons we've won and won our division and gone to the playoffs. You could look back and say, you know, I wish we would have done better on this road trip or this homestand. And but that's part of the game. You can't say I wish, if this, if that. You know, you got to take day by day and hope for the best each day. And you know, obviously mathematically we're still not anybody. It's going to be tough for us, and obviously we know that. And I've said it before. Basically, we got to go out there and win every game.
When you look back at 1996, some of the high points were new people emerging, in effect, in leadership roles. Tony Phillips getting on base a lot. You know, you honing down the top spot on the pitching staff. Roberto coming up with a big year. Were there any surprises to you, people who came up with big years that maybe you weren't ready for?
I think not surprises, but unproven, were like James Baldwin. He came up and have a good year. I expected what Kevin Tampany did this year. I expected, then I think he has thrown more innings than he usually does, but he's gone out there and pitched extremely well for us. I think the big thing is Tony Phillips' defense. I mean, his defense has been unbelievable this year, and I appreciate it because I'm on the mound. He makes unbelievable plays when I'm on the mound and when anybody else is on the mound. So I think that's one of the biggest surprises I've had personally this year. All in all, we've all played well. Everybody's played to their capabilities.
You know, it's funny because as a pitcher out there, you know, you could be throwing a beautiful game, and then if somebody can't get to a ball or can't make a throw to a base, kind of erases a lot of your good work.
Absolutely. I mean, defense is the most important part for pitching, you know, other than location and throwing the ball where you're supposed to be. If you make your pitch and they hit it somewhere that your defense is not, or they make an extremely great play, that turns the whole game around. So defense is the number one priority for pitching.
Well, both Tony and Harold, with their clutch hitting, have played key roles. I guess life begins at 37, huh?
I guess so. I'm sure they don't want to say that, but they've had great years, and they're getting better as age goes on. You know, they're getting better, and they did a great job for us.
How about the idea of experience and what you learn in a major league career? Certainly they're applying, in their cases, you know, 12, 13, 14 years, but now that you've been around a while, how do you pitch differently being a smarter pitcher?
Well, I mean, not necessarily you pitch differently. I think you just gone through the situation so many times because of the experience you've had. You've been out there I've been out there personally 6, 7 seasons, and you've gone through that same tough situation like maybe 6, 7 times. You're going to get better as time goes on. So if you did make a mistake, you learn not to do that mistake again, or you learn from it. So I think that you become better as a ball player as age and experience goes on.
You know, as we hit the air, we just got the memo on Karko's surgery, and with Ron Karkovice out and ailing a lot of the latter half of the season, you've had to make the adjustment to a couple of different catchers, Pat Borders and Don Slaught among them. How has that worked for you?
Well, I mean, Karko had been my personal catcher pretty much the whole year, my whole career. And, you know, it takes an adjustment, but you got experience back there, and just as well now with Borders or Slot. Those guys have been around for a long, long time, so it's not as bad as when you bring a rookie or you bring someone that is not in the league, not in the same league. So these guys have been around, they know what they're doing, so it's kind of an adjustment, but it's an adjustment that could be made, and just with paying attention and working with the guy, it could be made pretty easily.
To wrap up, regardless of how this season ends, you know, certainly the mathematics working a little bit against you as we hit the air, but a lot of people want to know, you know, where your head is at as far as 1997 goes, and if the agreement should happen, as we think it could be happening also as we speak. What are the likelihoods of coming back? We know some conversations have already taken place.
Well, it would be great for me to come back. I honestly could tell you right now, I don't know where I'll be playing next year. I don't know what team I'll be at. If the agreement does happen and I do become a free agent, I would love to come back. It's really up to the Chicago White Sox and their organization which direction they're going to go. If they're going to try to win, I would obviously think they're going to try to sign me for a long-term deal here. But I'm going to obviously leave my options open. There's a lot of other teams that I love to play for. So I'm really self grabs. I'm from White Sox, and I'm still a White Sox until I become a free agent. And hopefully I can finish my rest of my career as a White Sox.
Said diplomatically and truthfully, we appreciate it, and we hope too. I wish there was some way we could kind of get a pool to go together, go in the Alex Fernandez free agent pool. But best of luck, whatever happens.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. You've got to get to Lansing Floral Shop. Open at 8 a.m. daily. Besides a great array of live flowers, they have custom silks, Bridgewater candles. They want you to plan your parties early at a wide delivery area. They're located at 3420 Ridge Road in Lansing, or you can call 708-474-1212. Weddings, funerals, birthdays, anniversaries, and guys, try the No Reason flower. Believe me, it works. Lansing Floral Shop. Give them a call, 708-474-1212. Little Frank's Pizzeria and Bar. Thursday, $1.50 Miller Old Style. And of course, my trivia games alternate Thursdays. The next one, July 18th at 8 p.m. You know they have $12 large pizza and pitcher all day, every day? Easy to reach at 79th and Narragansett. Check out Little Frank's. You'll be glad you did. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie. Does tune-ups, transmission, AC service, engine repair, tire repair, oil changes, and emission system repair. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and they've done a great job for me. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie. Start driving now to At the Office, Sports Bar and Grill. 15 appetizers, flatbreads, burgers, wraps, paninis, 20 sandwiches, soups and salads. 4901 Cal Sag Road in Crestwood. It's near 132nd and Cicero. A fantastic menu, great staff. At the Office in Crestwood. Welcome to another edition of the Benkowski Sports Spotlight. We're one of Chicago's most eclectic establishments, the Borderline. Not only a fine sponsor of our program, but a very hip place to be, where you'll meet any number of different kinds of people from all kinds of walks of life, and you will have an excellent time, and you will meet strangers, and they will be pleasant to you, and it is a massive party. Let's talk about what's going on this week on the show. I was at Wrigley Field last week and talked to one of my favorite Cubs, Sammy Sosa, and the interview was so in-depth, and he was so willing to talk, that we couldn't squeeze it into last week's show. The last thing you heard him talk about was his love fest, and I don't mean that jokingly, his great relationship with Jim Lefevre. We pick it up from that point.
So that's why, you know what I'm saying, every time I go up there, I want to do good because I know I got somebody behind me that like me and love me.
That's a great feeling to have. Now, how about moving up in the lineup with all these home runs and RBIs? Do you think that the Cubs might want to take advantage of your output, maybe get up in there in that 4 or 5 batting order slot? What about that?
Well, you know that's my position, you know what I'm saying, and I know I can take care of that, you know what I'm saying. But sometimes, you know, so you get struggle, like I say, you know what I'm saying, the team not go the way you want it. But like I say, you know, we got a long way to go. We have a long season, you know what I'm saying, and I know I'm going to be there, and then the number going to be there. Hitting 4 or 5 to me, you know, it's more, you know, I can drive more RBI to the home plate, you know. I find, you know, a lot of more people, you know what I'm saying, in the base.
Well, it seems like you got the mental part of this game all solved, everything going right. To wrap up, what do the Cubs need to do as a team to put on a run in the second half and challenge people?
Well, right now, you know what I'm saying, everybody, you know, coming along, you know, so we got Mark Grace in the DL, you know, I mean, not in the DL, but, you know, he's hurt, being hurt, pulling hands, you know, stuff like that. But, like I say, you know what I'm saying, we got Harkey coming in the Civil League, Havel, and Mike Morgan, all these guys, when the team all together, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, and the hitters, you know, we all lock in, you know, so like we've been the last couple of days. You know what I'm saying, we're ready, you know, we're ready to go. We in there, you know, we're going to do some damage. So, like I said, you know, so when the thing go the way we want right now, we're playing real good right now, you know, so we don't worry about nothing. Just go up there, play the game, and do what I got to do. I do my job, you do your job, and that's the way we're coming along the last couple of games.
Well, it sounds to me like Sammy's saying pitchers healthy with the body, hitters healthy with the mind, and when those two are working, the Cubs are doing good. We'll watch for Sammy Sosa and more National League Player of the Week honors later in the year. But Jim Lefevre has plenty to worry about. Despite Sosa's excellence and Rick Wilkins, who you'll hear from later in the show, the pitching staff is in a word disarray. And the reason? The absence of this man that Larry Himes couldn't figure out how to sign. Meanwhile, on the south side, All-Star Jack McDowell rolling along as one of the premier, if not the best pitcher in the majors today. Joined by fellow All-Star Frank Thomas, who's also in a position to put up more career numbers, Gene Lamont is in a good position if he could only inspire his troops a little bit more, get some production out of a guy like George Bell, who looks like he could be at the end of the road. Why does he limp all the time? Bobby Thigpen, I'd get a shot at starting him. I know it sounds nuts, so what if he goes 5 innings and flies? I might even let him hit. Hopefully Lamont can get over the hump of some of that ill feeling that still exists the way Carlton Fisk was let go. And I can't help but wonder if he still could have helped the White Sox down the stretch.
I eat on the pasta twice just...
Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria at Grand and Racine is the place to go before United Center Pavilion, Bulls, Hawks, Cubs, and Sox too. Dine in or carry out with great family recipes, including homemade pastas, steaks, seafood, a great fun bar area. Meet people. Have a tremendous time at Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria, Grand and Racine. You'll find a great variety of foods for you to enjoy at Salerno's. Elbow's Sandwich Shop is new. They got good stuff. Open 11 a.m. Monday through Saturday. Italian beef, sausage, meatball, steak sandwiches, parmesan, soups, Italian subs, salads. At 6316 Archer, right around Mobile. Elbow's Sandwich Shop. Really good stuff. Swanson's Deli, Beverly Ritz Catering. Homemade soups and salads, fresh sandwiches, eat in or take out. Daily specials for lunch or dinner, and home of the famous cheese ball at 2414 West 103rd Street at Western. You've got to get there, and their catering serves any size. Swanson's Deli, Beverly Ritz Catering, 2414 West 103rd Street at Western in Chicago. Reggie's is a great place with tons of music, interesting people and staff, great food and drink at 21st and State. And amongst the cool things they have, Benkowski Trivia, July 22nd at 7 p.m. Reggie's, 21st and State, a fun place. You've got to get to Beefy's, a neighborhood tradition since 1987 at 58th and Harlem. Of course, besides the Italian beef, they got the famous chicken sub, great double cheeseburger. You can dine in, you can carry out. They got it all going on at Beefy's, 5749 South Harlem. We're back on the spotlight, and it's time to talk baseball at Wrigley Field, and we might squeeze in a basketball question or two. Sean Dunston is with us, and I guess maybe typical of the player of the 90s, but also maybe very specific because of the hard work he put in. Sean has made a fantastic comeback from a very tough injury. And Sean, tell us how you feel now compared to probably the times you were at your most down and most depressed, after your back was in really bad shape.
Well, I feel much better right now. I just have discomfort and stiffness, but after I get loose, I'm fine. But what hurts mostly is my hamstrings, which is something I have to go through, and I'm willing to put in the hard work.
A lot of skeptics said that, it's unlikely that you will come back. I mean, certainly it was such a medical thing. I don't know how people could make that statement, but I'm sure you heard it. You read some of the things, and now that you've made the comeback from the more serious injury, and look like you can go on for as long as you want to, what is your feeling? Do you feel sort of vindicated toward the people who were negative about your comeback?
Well, it's tough. I think they're just jumping on a bandwagon because they was looking at the dollar sign and how much money I made, and I could have sat back and, and just collect my dollars. But I'm a proud person, a person who like to go out there and play, and I'm proud to be a Cub. Right, there's certain people like Ron Kittle had the injury. Because he couldn't do it, that doesn't mean I can't do it. I mean, we are two different people. We brung up different, and hey, I'm a hard worker, and I'm not going to give up.
Well, that's probably the personality element that people didn't know about you. To elaborate a little bit more on that, you know, your comeback has to make you have a good feeling on one hand, but on the other hand, club got off to a very rough start this year, and a lot of people point to the pitching staff, saying that you guys have a great lineup, 1 through 8, but if you were a little more solid in the pitching department, people still lamenting the loss of Greg Maddux. What's your perspective on that?
It's tough to lose Greg Maddux, Andre Dawson, you know, Dwight Smith, a lot of guys, but you got to go on. Yes, we have a great lineup on paper, but you don't win on paper. You got to win on the field. And the pitching is so-so, they claim, but I say our pitching staff is not bad. I mean, we're not the Atlanta Braves, I mean, or the Yankees or Dodgers, but we have a good pitching staff, and we just got to go out there and make quality pitches and make the plays for them and get timely hits. I mean, it's tough to face the Braves, but, you know, they could be beat just like everyone else.
That brings up a point. When you mentioned Andre, I know that you guys are fairly close, and Andre, you know, has some big brotherly characteristics about him. And having been in the majors longer than you, I'm sure he took you under his wing at times. When key players like a Dawson, like a Maddux, you know, and others go by the wayside, you know, players that were key performers for your club for a long time, how does that affect the attitude on the players who are left?
Well, it affects me a lot because, I mean, all you hear is that players are not loyal and this and that. Here we had 2 people who belong in a Cub uniform, supposed to retire in a Cub uniform, and they're not here. So you kind of question that, who's loyal and who's not. But, you know, this is a business. You got to go on. You got to have a tough skin. But, you know, they're doing well. It's still tough to swallow, but I'm happy for Greg. I'm happy for Andre. And, you know, they're happy for me and the organization. But we got to go on. But it's something you got to deal with.
Obviously, I don't have the zillions to own a ball club, but I think if I did, one thing that I would try to do would be to keep my players happy to an extent. And it seems like at times, maybe less from a manager standpoint, but more from a front office standpoint, things happen that keep the players unhappy or uncertain, and maybe it takes away from your ability to play your best.
Well, happy is one thing. It depends on the individual. I mean, they're paying us $3, $4, $5 million. Why shouldn't we be happy? That's a different subject of not being happy by not getting much playing time. But if you're an everyday player making $4 or $5 million, you're happy. But you just don't like the way you know, business run. But hey, you cannot be a businessman. You got to be a baseball player. You can't be a general manager. You have to be a player. So let the business people take care of the business things, and you just take care of your job on the field.
Well, that's a very fresh perspective. Looking ahead, then, if the talent is there and you guys can rebound, what can you do? Where can you expect to finish?
Hopefully first place. I mean, man, we're out here trying our best. That's what we're out here for, you know, to do our best and hopefully finish first place. If not, second, before we can make the playoffs. But we're shooting for first place. The season's not over. It's a long year. It's like we was 0-12. We could go 12-0 at home.
2 more questions. Who looks like the class of your division that you would have to overcome eventually, if you were to go on the streak of streaks?
Houston, because they have outstanding pitching. They have 5 good quality pitchers, and they got players who make good contact and put the ball in play. And they play fairly good defense, but their pitching is outstanding, and pitching wins ball games just as much as defense. But you know, good hitting can stop good pitching, but usually good pitching stops good hitting. So if we put all of us together, I said the Astros have a little slight edge because of their pitching.
Thank you, Mr. Dunston. You know, he was a complete show of ours, approximately show 7 in our series. And that's about all the time we have. Thanks for watching. See you next week. This week's show has been brought to you by the Lansing Floral Shop. Call for your flowers at 708-474-1212. Huck's Finn, a great wide-ranging menu, along with donuts and ice cream. Open 24 hours at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Imprint Graphics, leaders in booklet, perfect bound saddle stitch. Very competitive pricing, 708-396-1010.